From the PEP Radio Newsroom, this is the daily news for April 1st, 2026. These are the stories we are covering at this hour. A federal judge on Tuesday ordered the Trump administration to suspend construction of a $400 million ballroom. It demolished the east wing of the White House to make space for, barring work from proceeding without congressional approval. U.S. District Judge Richard Leon in Washington granted a preservationist group's request for a preliminary injunction that temporarily halts President Donald Trump's White House ballroom project. He concluded that the National Trust for Historic Preservation is likely to succeed on the merits of its claims because no statute comes close to giving the president the authority he claims to have. The President of the United States is the steward of the White House for future generations of First Families. He is not, however, the owner, wrote Leon, who was nominated to the bench by Republican President George W. Bush. The White House quickly filed a notice to appeal while Trump fumed at the ruling. "We built many things at the White House over the years. They don't get congressional approval," he told reporters in the Oval Office a short time later. Turning to news potentially impacting the 2026 midterm elections, President Donald Trump on Tuesday signed an executive order to create a nationwide list of verified eligible voters and to restrict mail-in voting, a move that swiftly drew legal threats from state Democratic officials ahead of this year's midterm elections. The order, which voting law experts say violates the Constitution by attempting to seize states' power to run elections, is the latest in a torrent of efforts from Trump to interfere with the way Americans vote based on his false allegations of fraud. The president has repeatedly lied about the outcome of the 2020 presidential campaign and the integrity of state-run elections, asserting again Tuesday that he won 3 times and citing accusations of voter fraud that numerous audits, investigations, and courts have debunked. The order, signed Tuesday, calls on the Department of Homeland Security, working in conjunction with the Social Security Administration, to make the list of eligible voters in each state. It also seeks to bar the U.S. Postal Service from sending absentee ballots to those not on each state's approved list. Trump is also calling for ballots to have secure envelopes with unique barcodes for tracking, according to the executive order, which was first reported by the Daily Caller. Federal funding could be withheld from states and localities that don't comply. Turning to news about ICE concentration camps. A staggering number of people have died in immigration and customs enforcement detention during President Donald Trump's second term, deepening concerns about poor conditions in medical care at federal facilities across the country. According to an analysis by ABC News, the first 14 months of Trump's second term have been among the deadliest for the federal detention system in recent years. As of this week, there's been a total of 47 deaths in federal custody, including 33 in 2025 and 14 in the first 3 months of 2026, per the New York Times. The 2025 figure includes 2 people who were killed when a gunman opened fire on a Dallas ICE detention facility last September. That's compared to 11 deaths in ICE custody in 2024, 7 in 2023, and 3 deaths in 2022, according to NPR. Previously, deaths also surged in 2020 when the pandemic contributed to a spike in fatalities. On Monday, DHS announced that Jose Guadalupe Ramos Solano had died on March 25th, though the agency did not specify the cause. Ramos Solano was found unconscious and unresponsive in his bunk at the Adelanto ICE Processing Center in Southern California and was pronounced dead at a local hospital. He had multiple conditions, including diabetes and hypertension, according to DHS, which claimed that he received consistent care for them. And finally, this news from Pennsylvania. A federal judge on Tuesday ordered the University of Pennsylvania to comply with the U.S. Civil Rights Agency's subpoena seeking information on Jewish students, faculty, and campus groups as part of a probe into allegations of anti-Semitism. U.S. District Judge Gerald Papert in Philadelphia rejected claims by the Ivy League school and faculty and student groups that complying with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission subpoena would require producing lists of Jews in violation of their constitutional rights and could threaten their safety. The judge, who was appointed by Democratic President Barack Obama, said contrary to UPenn's arguments, the EEOC has an important interest in investigating the charge of discrimination, and the subpoena is substantially related to that interest. He called it unfortunate and inappropriate that the school and its supporters, in pressing their case, had been impliedly and even expressly comparing the EEOC's efforts to protect Jewish employees from anti-Semitism to the Holocaust and the Nazis' compilation of lists of Jews. Admittedly, they do sound an awful lot alike. Papert would know that if he knew who was actually running the White House. Stephen Miller Liberals. Papert ordered the university to respond to the subpoena, but without revealing any employee's affiliation with a specific organization, noting that the agency had dropped a request for information on their affiliation with a particular Jewish-related organization on campus. That's the news at this hour. PEP Radio is available on the Live 365 app, the PEP Radio page at paequality.com, Roku, and Alexa. Up next, we have the Meadville area weather forecast here on PEP Radio.